Hello everyone and welcome to our weekly webinar. My name is Pascal and I'll be your host for this session. With me today, Chaitali, our digital marketing executive from our Brussels office. Hello Chaitali.
Hi, Pascal.
Chaitali, can you tell us what your daily job consists in?
Sure. So as one of the digital marketing officers at Odoo Brussels, my primary responsibility is to create marketing campaigns online to boost Odoo brand awareness, obviously. Do events like webinars, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Great. Okay. Well, just before we start this webinar, maybe just a few guidelines in order to have a smooth webinar. Presentation will take about 30 minutes, followed by a short Q&A session. You can ask your question in the YouTube chatter. We'll gladly go over after this webinar. And as usual, the webinar is recorded and you can review it anytime following the same link. I think we are ready. So
Great.
Please, Chaitali, it's your turn.
All right. Let's begin. So as Pascal might have mentioned, the title for today's webinar is Lead Nurturing Using Odoo. What is that about? So what are we going to cover? It's pretty unique because we'll just be covering one simple business flow and across 3 different Odoo apps. The idea is really to show you how you can nurture your leads and opportunities, your potential customers, through the sales funnel. So from the stage of awareness at the top to purchase. We will be looking at lead nurturing, the basics of lead nurturing, followed by event marketing, and using event marketing as a method of lead nurturing with Odoo apps, a small conclusion, and as Pascal mentioned, the Q&A at the end. All right, to begin, what is lead nurturing? For those of you who aren't marketers or digital marketers out there, this can be a bit of a confusing term. Essentially, it's a process of developing relationships with your leads, opportunities, your potential customers, and ensure that they have a great buyer journey so that when they're going through the funnel, they have a great experience with your brand even before they become customers. This is very important because it's one of the ways that they can see how much you're invested as a company in your customers. So we have usually 4 stages of lead nurturing. Educate, which is pretty much self-evident, in which you educate your clients about the brand. What do you offer? Do you offer a product or services? What does it consist of? The pricing, etc. Then you move on to the informative stage, in which you can give updates via newsletters, via blogs, via mass mails, and you really give them more information, maybe about concerning the brand itself, concerning the product itself. And the 3rd stage for me, which is the most important, is engagement. So when you engage with your clients, it stops becoming just a one-way street when you're passively giving out information into a 2-way street, when you actually receive feedback from clients itself or leads and opportunities itself. This can be done via your social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, as you wish. The challenge here is not to spam or annoy your clients, because you don't want them to drop out because you're giving them too much or you're pushing them too much. The beauty of social media marketing is really that maintaining a delicate balance between giving too much or not enough information. Strive really to provide relevant and informative news to people who actually want it. What this does, if you've done everything correctly, you will get to the last stage, which is the best one, which is conversion. When you convert is when all of your leads and ops become customers. Now, obviously not all, but a percentage of them. This doesn't stop at conversion. It's actually a process. Even when you've converted your leads, you will still need to nurture them, to educate and inform and engage them. It's an ongoing process because that way they'll become returning customers, which is great for business. So I know that this is a very long and complicated process. So you may be thinking, why do it? Lead nurturing actually has a 2-fold objective. One is from the buyer perspective, as I explained, you get a great experience and you like the brand. The secondly is from a sales perspective. When you filter out, when you're going through the process, when you're going through the funnel, these 5 steps of education, information, engagement, and engagement actually help to weed out the cold or the unwanted or unqualified leads so that you have a very clean funnel for your salespeople to sell to. So people who are already very much interested in the brand. And more importantly, according to Forrester research, companies that excel at lead nurturing generate 50% more sales-ready leads at a 33% lower cost. So that is a huge saving, and the 33% that you actually save in this process by optimizing your lead nurturing can be used for event marketing. So event marketing is not just for lead nurturing. It can also be used for lead generation, but we will go into that later in a different webinar. For the moment, we're just focusing on using events as a way of nurturing your leads. What is event marketing? You can have, I think one must be aware of, or has attended some kind of event made by, hosted by a company. It can be physical for events. You can have seminars, you can have conferences, workshops. Odoo, we have the amazing Odoo experience every year held here in Brussels. You can also have online events. If you don't have the resources to invest in physical events, you can always host an event online in which interested leads and opportunities can join you, and you can do an AMA, you could do a webinar like we're doing right now, or some other kind of event. This is very important as a marketing technique because you really provide a more humane face to the brand. It's not just a name, but you really give an image to it in the sense that it's actually a living personality. It makes the brand also more accessible. And the advantages with events is that you boost your brand awareness. People know who you are. They see your logo via the publicity materials you've created everywhere. You can convert leads and ops, which is our kind of our end goal over here. And you can build a community of advocates. So this is what I'd mentioned earlier about having loyal fans and followers. The more you engage and the better you engage with your fans, the more they are likely to recommend you. These are what we call advocates. And every brand, every company should actually strive to have a loyal base of advocates that do the marketing and publicity for them because they love you, so they will want everyone who know you to follow you. Okay, let's get to the meat of the matter. How do we nurture leads using Odoo apps? So for this demo, we're actually going to be using 3 key Odoo applications, websites, over here, email marketing and events. Now, for the sake of this demo, we're going to be focusing on let's imagine you are a small bookshop, like a mom and pop kind of bookshop, and you would like to retain your clients and also get new clients to stay more relevant and obviously to stay in business. So how would you compete with the big brand, with the online stores? One of the key advantages a bookshop would have is that it's experiential. You can't walk into an online bookshop, pick up a book, and smell the freshness of the page. That's the kind of thing you'd only get at a bookshop. So we can try to increase lead nurturing or lead generation via event marketing. So as you can see, I've created a trial database for our bookshop, which is called BookBarn, as you can see in the name, bookbarn.com. We're using the app's websites, email marketing, and events primarily. So let's go to our website. Here we are. So I will not be going into actually the creation of a website because it's very simple and it can be done in literally 10 minutes. And we do have excellent webinars already on creating a website and an e-commerce, which you can refer to on our YouTube list on a best of playlist. You can subscribe to our channel to actually access that as well. But what we have here is just a very simple website done in, I think, less than 20 minutes this morning about BookBarn. You have your nice little logo, some numbers, and the number of books, magazines, what you propose, and a contact form. So every website should have this because it actually is a great way to generate leads because anyone who contacts you in this will be directly into your CRM system, your customer relationship management system. We won't be concerning ourselves with this for the moment. What we'll be doing is going to the events page where we have our events. So remember that the view that you have here is the front end, but from an admin point of view, because I'm the administrator of the website. So you can see that you have 3 events planned: Readers Club, a Christmas party, and another Readers Club in January. The tags next to it, the blue tag online means that it's an online event, and unpublished means that it's a draft that you have created but you haven't published yet. Let's take a look at this using an incognito window from a customer point of view. So imagine you were just a customer browsing through Book Barn, and you see on the events page you have your online meeting that we saw before and a Christmas party, and you don't see the unpublished one because it's obviously not on the website yet. Let's say I'm interested in the Christmas party because it sounds fun. You can go to the registration page, check out the dates. All right, it's free, great, and register. Let's check a name. All right, let's say up. Email, and a phone number. Just make up a fake name and phone number. And there we are, registered. You can see we have a reference name, up, and everything is confirmed. Now, if we go back to the back end, to the front end of the website from our point of view, here we go. Let's go to the Events app from the dashboard, and you can see that the person was here, David. You have him, d@test.com. We already created. So you see, it's literally within seconds that someone registers and they come in the system, which is great. And if you go back to the event, you can see exactly what they received. So this is the event page from your end, from the back end. Quickly, you can see the number of attendees. You can send out a mail to the attendees if you want to notify them of something. You can see if it's published or not, and if it's active or if it's archived. So since this is already published, I don't want to change a lot of things in it, but I'll just show you the email templates. The email templates are essentially a pre-filled email that get automatically sent out to the people who've registered for this. As you can see here, we have 3. There's one that's sent immediately after when they register itself, one they send out a day before the event, and 10 days before, reminder events. What we'll do is actually we'll create our own event so you can see how they look like. Let's say, let's create an event. Let's call it End of the Year Bonanza Party. Let's make it, we can choose a category. If it can be an online or social. Let's make it a physical social event. It'll be here. Let's say it's going to be starting on the 31st and ending also on the 31st. You can change the times, obviously, here. I want this to end at, let's see, yeah, 10 o'clock. Seems like a decent time. Okay. You can promote it on Twitter. You can create your own little hashtag, which they can use and which the attendees can use to promote your event. And as it's a physical event, we can limit it because if you don't want to have too many people, let's say you want to have 15 maximum for this. All right. And here we are, the famous email schedules. In this, if you decide that for this particular event, 3 emails is too much, you can always delete it. Or if you want to add an event reminder or some other kind of, if you like to create an email template, you can also do that. You won't get into that for the moment, but just know that you have the possibility to do it. Now let's check out what this looks like. If you click on this little link on the side, you can actually see how the email looks like. Now this is like a whole bunch of HTML, which we aren't going to touch because that's not the point of the webinar. But you can preview it with this little button, and here we are. So you have your beautifully laid out email with your logo, the link to the event, and your name, for example, or the handy little guide to add it to your Google, Outlook, or Yahoo calendars, the time, date, etc. The basics. Okay, so we have our event that's confirmed. Perfect. Now, once you created your event, you obviously want people to know about it, your leads in the system who are already there, so that they come and attend it. For that, let's go to our mass mail or email marketing. And let's create a mail to send out to all of you, everyone in your system, to remind them that there's this event coming up. Let's say it's from Book Barn, and let's call it end of the year bonanza party. Okay, so we don't want just a mailing list. So what you can do here is actually you can segment people by mailing list. If someone who would like to receive news all the time on a particular subject, if someone's interested, for example, in more of corporate news, if others are interested in knowing all of the updates, you can make segmented lists based on that. But for this, we want to target everyone in our system. So if we do that, click on this, we have 12 people in our system. Remember, this is a small bookshop, so we're taking a very low-key example, but this can be scaled up to a much larger size. So you can have, I think in Odoo we have around thousands of contacts that you can send this out to. And this is what I was saying when I mentioned don't annoy or spam your clients. Only send out relevant information. So for those who've decided not to receive any emails, make sure to add a filter of opt-out. Opt-out is when they've decided to unsubscribe from any mails or any communication. So up, it's not set. And as we can see, none of our 12 records have decided to opt out. So they like what we're communicating, which is great. Let's create a template. Let's create an email. You have a bunch of emails here, email templates, which are very beautifully made. But for the sake of mine, I'm going to just take a very simple one, adapt it quickly in a couple of seconds. Let's see, we have our logo. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Probably reduce it in size. It's a little big. Yep. And you can say, you can edit the text. Say, please join us for our annual party. So all of these things in Odoo are made, I don't have a technical background. I have absolutely zero knowledge of HTML or coding. But within a few seconds, you can create very beautifully customized mails that you can send out to all of your leads and ops. Or even if you have a background in HTML, well and good. You can also use that. What I want here is actually I wanted to link it to the event that I created because I need them to attend that. On the side, you can see that you have a tag for an event. This is great. Here I can edit the registration. I can go to my URL. So if I go to bookbarn.com, go to my events page, publish my events, and I will get quickly my key URL. Let's paste this over here. Perfect. Probably make it. That's great. So what will happen, change the date here. This is the 31st of December, all day. Give it a title, the end of the year party. And I don't need a description, so I can just delete this part. Great. Now, you can save it, so you can view you can see how it looks like. Oh, actually, we don't need this. There we are. So that's your quickly made email that you can send out. You can do a test mail, send it to yourself to see how it looks like. I would always recommend to do a test mail just to make sure everything, all the links work, all the formatting is correct, so that when you send it out to your actual clients, nothing is amiss. Or you can set to send to all. So here we are. So here, with these buttons, you can actually see what percentage of people you sent it to received it, opened it, replied, how many clicked on it, and if it bounced. This is a great way to measure your ROI to see what kind of mails actually get you the best replies. That means that shows what kind of preferences your segment has. Not every segment of clients would have the same preferences. So even here at Odoo, actually, we have different kinds of ways that we create and send mails because we know our client preferences. So it's really something that takes some time and trial and error and, getting used to. If you don't want to send mails right away, for example, if you created your test mail and you would like to send it out, so let's say our party is on the 31st, you wouldn't send it out, so just the day before, for example, just make sure that they remember. You can always go into the options and you can schedule it in the future. So let's say that if you want to go here, schedule it for just the day before 30th. And so it'll actually send it out at that exact moment. Okay. All right. Now, what we've done is we've actually taken our leads in the system through the whole stage of educating them about the product via the website. We've informed them via our newsletters that have been sent out previously. And we are keeping them engaged by creating events and ensuring that they attend and making sure that they have a great time. This makes sure that the brand stays relevant and active within the leads and ops. Okay, I've actually just created a fake little, so as you can see, this was one of the emails, the mass email that we sent out a while ago to one of our clients, and this is how it looks like on his inbox. Okay, right, so now that we've gone through the whole process, let's come back to the presentation. Right, here we are. So as we saw, we used the website to inform. We used creation of an event to engage our clients, and mass mail to keep them informed, as well as to convert when they register, that's the conversion, and to make sure that our brand stays relevant. Moving on. So, lead nurturing is a very complex and very, let's say, tricky process in which you really have to feel the sense intuitively or via trial and error what your clients would prefer and use the same methods. This is what works for us. This is what we've been using. So let's hope you find yours. But as you can see, the Odoo apps are very well integrated. So you can always you can go quickly from one app to the other without even switching out of one single app, and a lot of information in there. I think that's all I have. If you have any questions or answers,
thank you, Chetali, for this nice webinar. Indeed, guys, if you have questions, please ask them in the YouTube chatter. We'll go over it and try to answer them as good as possible.
I think we already have some questions.
We can have a look, Chetali, if you want.
I think Jamie has a question. Is it only limited to Twitter? We have Facebook as our main social network. Odoo too, we have a great following on Facebook, and you can use Facebook also to publicize your events, publicize your any news, any information.
Yes.
You do that pretty frequently as well. So no, it's not only limited to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
On the events, yes, you can limit it to Twitter, but you can always edit. For example, if you go to our events, let's go back here. You can always, well, that's actually the mass mail. Let's go back to the event one. Right. So if you want to convert this to an online event, you can always just change the location over here, and you can add a link to a YouTube page or something of that sort. So that is possible, but maybe not on Facebook, because I don't think Facebook has the possibility to regroup a lot of people in one place to create an event as such. You know what I mean? But yes, I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Great. Let's see, we have another one from Dan.
Who says, mailing list subscribers do not appear as contacts in Odoo. It is a separate mailing list, and you cannot mix contact with mailing list. Yeah, that actually is done on purpose, because what happens is that sometimes you have customers also who send you emails, who send you who connect via your contact form, and then when you have a mailing list that's separate, when you have a mailing list, you may, and you include that into your CRM, you may have duplicates. So the reason why we haven't integrated this, because we want to avoid getting as many duplicates as possible. So it's much cleaner. Actually, what we would do is, you would just, if you want your mailing list, you would go, for example, here on your mailing list. You could simply export it and then re-import that back into mass mail. And then if you want to include that in your CRM, but it's, well, that's the way we go about it. Okay.
Let's see if we have all the questions we can answer here.
Is it possible to apply analytics to the selection mails? Monthly, okay, we're on problem 1 million contact. All right, so the question is, how is it possible to apply analytics to the selection of mails? For example, we have approximately 1 million contacts, and monthly we select potentials using purchases. I'm not so sure what you mean by that.
Yes, Jaime, maybe you can rephrase your question.
Yeah. Or I don't know if you're talking about segmentation. You could always, if you have about 1 million contacts, you could probably add tags to your
Yes.
contacts,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can select, when you're creating your mail, you can select them by which tag or which segmented users you would like to use. That's not so.
Just like you said before in your webinar, it's about using correctly the filters.
Yeah. Yeah.
In order to have the right result.
Yeah. Okay.
So, do we have other questions?
I don't see any.
No.
Transferable.
Not
That's-
yet. Please, guys, we are still here for a few minutes, so go ahead and ask
Free.
your questions.
And again, disclaimer: I am not the most, I would not be the best person to answer all of your functional questions, because I am pure marketing. If you would like to know more about how Odoo can functionally help you run your business, you can always get in touch with some of our business advisors. I think the link is at the bottom and the description, and they'll be able to do a much better job than I would. Or I think we have a live support
Yes,
also.
we have our sessions on Friday. So when we go live, we always have our live button that appears on our homepage of odoo.com in the upper right corner. So feel free to click, and we always have a functional person that is there, or a technical guy that will answer your technical questions. So it is almost every Friday. This week we also have some support session,
Yeah.
and our people will be glad to answer
out,
all of
yeah.
your questions
Yeah.
regarding any kind of subject.
Absolutely. Okay. Well,
Yes, I think, we do not have incoming questions anymore. Don't forget that this webinar is recorded, so feel free to review it anytime following the same link. And I would say also, if you enjoy watching our live session, well, subscribe to the YouTube channel of Odoo and stay updated with all the upcoming webinar. We at least have one webinar per week.
absolutely. We have one
So-
coming up this Thursday as well.
Yes, about different subject, but also in different languages. Or just go to our homepage and into the event page of Odoo, and there you can subscribe then specifically for webinars you'd like to see.
Great. Yeah.
Well, I think it's time to close this webinar. I would like to thank you very much for watching this webinar.
Thanks for joining.
And we wish you a good day, and see you next time.
Bye.